men and women fought and died for our freedoms, and we are not going to allow a virus or any other elected official to tell us otherwise anymore. We're done.
What's going on, guys? Drew Hernandez here. We are here in Southern California, socialist Southern California, where hundreds of American patriots in San Clemente are taking the streets, standing up for their First Amendment, Second Amendment, entire constitutional Bill of Rights for their freedoms against tyranny. This is not supposed to be taking place in mainstream media. The mainstream media and social media and the tech giants do not want you to see this because they don't want you to join the patriotic fight as well. There are hundreds of patriots out here. This is why we're censored. This is why we're suppressed. This is why they don't want us to have a voice, because you won't hear us and you won't wake up to the fact that you need to join the patriotic fight. This is our next episode of Lives Matter in Southern California, in San Clemente, in 2020. Let's see what happens. I am here with Paul at the San Clemente Reopen America Again rally in Southern California. There are hundreds of patriots out here. Don't allow the fake news media to tell you that this is not happening. It is happening for a reason, because liberation is making a comeback in America here in 2020, not only because of Donald Trump, but because of American patriots that are fed up with fake news media, fed up. So we are here with a patriot here in Southern California. What is the main purpose and reason for you being out here today?
To express my right as an American to peaceful protest and assembly.
Gotcha. There have been multiple attempts, unconstitutional attempts from governors, even unelected officials like the CDC, that are attempting to kind of like swipe away our constitutional rights, the First and Second Amendment. How does that make you feel as an American?
I'm outraged. It's a coup. It's a coup. There's no other way to put it. It's a coup, and you know what? We as Americans, regardless of who's in power, who is the president, the fact that they're turning a blind eye to allow this, and the fact that the media is pushing this, as that other gentleman said, and as you said, the CDC and the WHO. Why are we funding the WHO? Why? No one cares about them or the band. They're both done.
Absolutely. When it comes to the actual coronavirus itself, the president makes it very clear. He doesn't believe that the coronavirus itself is a hoax, but the hysteria that's coming from the media is a hoax. So how do you view that as well when you view CNN, mainstream media, and other news outlets across the United States, even worldwide? How do you think that affects the culture and it affects the people worldwide?
Yeah, the media is just completely blowing this out of proportion, and it just incenses me.
100%. You know, the Second Amendment is sacred to Americans. To hear the sheriff attempt to say that the Second Amendment is non-essential right now, do you believe there's ever an appropriate time to say such a thing?
Never. It's never. No, there's never a time when the Second Amendment isn't essential to our guaranteed freedoms as Americans.
It's easy for me to see that the steps that we're taking is essentially a self-inflicted wound. We're killing ourselves economically. And the thing I think is important for me that people start to realize is the economic ramifications of what we're doing will probably cost more lives than the illness, especially when you consider it on a worldwide level. I don't know if people are aware that the United Nations is starting to alert us that there are huge food shortages in the third world. We're not feeling that here, but again, the ramifications of our irresponsible overreaction are broad.
How has the coronavirus hysteria affected you personally?
Well, obviously we all need to make a living. I'm in real estate, and so that has drastically affected my ability to help people buy or sell homes. And everyone's in the same boat. I think this is government is trying to control us. This is a big hoax. Yes, the virus is real. I believe it was planted. It's biochemical warfare by China. And we just need to take our country back. We can wear masks. I've got mine in my pocket. And we can get back to work and get past this. Just build your immune system and let's get on with it. This is ridiculous.
100%, because economically it sounds like you've been affected, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so
Everyone has. They're trying to crash the economy so they can bring it to one world government, one world order. It's ridiculous.
100%, and I think that's obvious by now, right? To just push us into a socialist state where everyone is dependent on the government itself, financially, economically, in so many ways. Last question. If you could say something to the president right now, what would you say to him?
I would say keep doing a great job. You're amazing. You are anointed. You've got this. Our prayers are with you, and we are behind you. Do not listen to the rhetoric that is trying to take you down. We love you. God bless.
What is the number one reason you find yourself out here supporting the president, supporting the Constitution and freedom? What does this mean to you?
Well, what I know is that this has never happened ever in my lifetime, and probably in the last 100 years, and probably ever historically, where we've completely shut down an entire globe over one virus, okay? We were willing to do our part for 2 weeks, even 30 days, okay? And we've already now pushed past that. We now see the writing on the wall. We see that it's a virus, probably nothing more than the flu. In fact, it's actually affecting less people than the flu. And for some reason, they seem to think that this is okay to continue to take our rights away. That means telling us to stay in our houses, putting masks on, all of this.
Punishable by law and jail time.
Correct, exactly. And that people have been getting fines and whatnot. Enough is enough. We are done. We're done with it. We're done with complying. We will not comply. We are a free nation. We have always been a free nation. We were the American Revolution was fought because we didn't want tyrannical leaders like the UK, like England was putting on our American citizens. And we are now stating enough is enough. We want to go back to America the way, not necessarily the way it was, because I think there was a lot of great that came out of this. I think that a lot of people turned to God. I think there was so much fear mongering that people just were so freaked out over it. I personally am a Christian, so I had quite the blanket of peace around me, knowing that, you know what, even if I did get it, my immune system would take care of it, like all healthy people, if they get it. Or if they get things. My heart mourns for people that are compromised with their immune systems. However, it's life. It's part of life. It's the evolution of life. You don't completely close down an entire universe. Yeah. Okay, over that. So seeing all these amazing people out here, seeing all these Americans, these freedom-loving people that love and support our president. And I'll tell you, our president would support this. Our president wants to get back to work. Our president is tired of his amazing economy going into the tank because of all of this fear-mongering from the left.
There has been an attempt to sabotage from the beginning the presidency, right? We all know this, but right now more than ever, it seems like even the CDC and some unelected organizations that somehow seem to be influencing policy. No one elected the CDC, but all of a sudden they're up there influencing policy. How does that make you feel as an American? Because the Constitution is our foundation and our guide, but all of a sudden there's unelected officials that seem to be taking the world stage in the greatest, most powerful country in the world, now influencing policy. As an American, I guess speak to those that aren't familiar with our constitutional rights. What warning would you give to someone that is kind of saying, you know what, we should just obey what they're saying to just, keep peace anyways? What would you say to someone like that?
Well, first of all, we have a representative government, so you have to understand our Constitution. The whole point is that we represent people that will represent us, and we are saying enough is enough. So the fact that CDC, the World Health Organization, all of these other agencies, and trust me, for years, they have been influencing policy more than our elected representatives, because you've got lobbyists, you've got all sorts of outside special interests. And that is what our president is completely exposing. And be aware, do your research, know that we are fighting for you. We want you to join us. We want you to understand that this is about freedom. freedom. This is not about a virus. There's going to be more viruses. There's going to be more things going on. We have to know that as Americans, we are free, and we are not going to be told that we have to stay in our houses, that we have to wear masks, that we can't go to certain businesses. We can't be told what businesses are essential, what businesses are. We get to decide that. We're American. Our men and women fought and died for our freedoms, and we are not going to allow a virus or any other elected official to tell us otherwise anymore. We're done.
I couldn't have said that any better, you guys. 100%. Last question, Genevieve. If you could say something to the president, what would you say to him, and not only him, but the administration, the true patriots that are around him right now, not the deep state that have, poured over from the Obama administration? What would you say to the president and his administration right now?
Well, I'll tell you, that gets me choked up. I'm choked up because we have the most amazing president ever, ever, ever. He is totally for the American people. He is totally making sure that when he was told by Fauci, two Democrats, by the way, to Fauci and the doctor, I want to say...
Scarf Lady.
Yeah, the Scarf Lady. And he was told that 2.1 million people might die. So he went quick into action, made sure that the ventilators were being manufactured by GM and people that were doing cars, all this stuff. I mean, he was bam, 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 because his number one, and this is what gets me emotional, is the American people.
Even those that hate him.
Even those that hate him. And he wanted to make sure that as many lives were saved. And that's exactly what he did. And he wants everything to open. He's with us. He's with us. And all those, Mike Pence, our vice president, all of those people that are totally behind him, getting those checks out. I mean, who would have thought, oh my gosh, the checks like instantly in your bank account? Are you kidding me? No other president would have been able to do that. No other president would have been able to get those hospitals, those temporary beds, all of those medicines, all of those, doing the quinine, or I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but the malaria medicine. Every single step he has taken was because he cares and loves about us, each and every one of us. And that, to me, just really gets me choked up because we are so grateful that he is the man that is in charge.
Guys, I'm used to covering like leftist rallies and protests, and they're like totally unorganized and super cringe and really hard to be a part of. But this stuff like this is where America needs to be, not only during the Trump campaign or during the Trump presidency, but more Californians, more patriots in liberal states need to be more vocal, and they need to be more open about their constitutional and patriotic views, because when one rises, 100 more rise, and when 100 rise, 1,000 rise, and when 1,000 rise, the numbers start going up. And I think we've been so socially engineered for so long to believe that no one else is out there like us because of the mainstream media. What the mainstream media does not want is stuff like this happening in California, where you have hundreds of patriots that are being vocal and that are being open about their patriotism and their constitutionalism. And I think this is a testament to how powerful fake news can really be. What's up, man? This is a testament to how powerful fake news could really be, because this is not what they want. This is why we're censored. This is why on social media they silence us. This is why in mainstream media there are no mainline, hardline conservative voices, because once that starts to happen, you start getting these rallies, and you start getting more patriots that are more vocal and that are more open about their views, and the numbers start to grow. The mainstream media, social media, the tech giants, they do not want another Donald Trump. They do not want another patriot movement, and this is why we're silenced. This is why we're censored. This is why you don't see too many hardline, mainline conservative voices in pop culture. And the reason why you see that, or you don't see that, is because they don't want this happening. And once this starts to happen, when freedom-loving patriots begin to actually vocalize their opinions, not only do mainstream popular figures begin to infiltrate the culture, but just everyday Americans begin to dictate, like the founders intended it to be, how America's going to go according to the Bill of Rights.
I'm out here because we need to reopen our economy. People are suffering. You have 22 million people out of work, and that's not even the real numbers. A lot of the people are not able to file unemployment. What does it look like when we got 30 million unemployed? You've just opened the door for socialism. We don't want a vaccine. We want our economy back up. There's treatments out there like hydrochloroquine. Look, I'm in a bad category. You know, I got pre-existing condition. I'm obese. So supposedly, according to the science, I'm in high risk for the COVID-19. But I don't have no PPEs on, and I'm not afraid. And I think that's what we all should be doing, is being not afraid and have freedom over fear, man.
The LA County Sheriff was attempting to deem the Second Amendment or firearms non-essential. How does that make you feel as an American when it comes to the Constitution?
Well, obviously that's a violation of the Constitution. That is essential. There's nothing more essential than our Constitution. Those are our God-given rights that man is not allowed to take away. And in the Second Amendment it says, shall not be infringed. I think that's simple enough.
If there's anything you could communicate to the president and his administration right now, what would it be?
The main thing is I see the president pushing the vaccine and stop talking about hydrochloroquine. I'd rather take the hydrochloroquine than the vaccine. President Trump, do not force the vaccine on us. I do not want it. Let me take my own chances. Let me have my own freedom. Please don't sell us the vaccine as the ultimate solution.
I am an American. I am mad as hell. We are being bankrupt. Millions of Americans are losing their businesses. They're using their life savings, and they're just going into debt. And how is this helping a virus? It is not. Mr. President, we stand behind you. Say when and where. We will back you up 100%. We are millions of Americans, and we are pissed off as hell. And if they're going to awaken a sleeping giant, and they are going to regret it. This is the land of the free, America. This locking down healthy people is tyranny. Our virus is Newsom, Pelosi, Schiff, socialism. We do not want socialism. We will die before we take socialism. We were born land of the free, and we will die a free people.
There have been a lot of attempts to violate our constitutional rights. Some county sheriffs saying that the Second Amendment is non-essential, or the First Amendment right to protest is not essential. How does that make you feel as an American?
We need term limits on Congress. This is all because these people that are in power have been in power forever, and they get away with what they want. Our biggest threat to America right now is voter fraud. I worked on the last election. I witnessed it firsthand. California is corrupt to the core. They have mail-in votes, and they're all Democrat. Imagine that. We need voter ID.
Businesses are closing. People are being affected very negatively. I mean, we hear oftentimes about this no elective surgeries and things of that nature, and perhaps you may have highlighted some of those stories, but folks who are in danger of dying and are dying because they're unable to receive the medical care that they need at this time. So it's an infringement on our rights. And what I believe myself and everyone here is making a statement that our rights will not be infringed. People have died on behalf of the rights that we enjoy as Americans, and we're not going to put up with this anymore. We're not going to let our businesses continue to fail, and we're not with this this attempt to just thwart any voice that we have as the people. Because remember, we are the people, right? So the media, again, this is something you hit on earlier, was stifle all the truth that needs to be heard by the people to make informed decisions. I think it's great what you're doing, because you're able to give a voice to the people that aren't going to be highlighted positively today.
I am an RN district manager, and I'm telling you that every single tent is empty. The hospitals are almost empty because I'm trying to get all my patients home because there's no visitors allowed. So that means my patients are dying of brain cancer, lung cancer, etc., not COVID-19, in the hospital because they can't get the care. Because right now they're only allowing the RN or the doctor in, not the family. The death rate for viruses, go in this number. Okay, tuberculosis is still number one infectious disease in the world. Ebola is number 2. I always forget number 3, but number 4 is influenza A, which is the flu, and B, and COVID is like number 10. And we stopped the whole country over this. We stopped the whole country. This has nothing to do with COVID. This whole close down has nothing to do with COVID. I can personally attest to that. I've seen fake nurses lying on the news that aren't even real nurses, and the reason I know is because I'm a district manager, and I go to the same facilities, so they're lying. They're making up numbers that aren't there. I have had 2 patients die of COVID. They did not die of COVID. 2 patients that got COVID with lung cancer, and the other one had Alzheimer's, and they both survived, and they were both in their 80s. But, I do the testing. I test my patients if they have symptoms, but the numbers are incorrect that they're feeding us. And so the reason they closed down the whole world, basically, not just the United States, was for a political reason for the New World Order. Now I'm going to get a little crazy.
No, you're not crazy.
Yeah, it's the New World Order agenda. And, but, I believe in Trump. I believe he's working behind the scenes trying to fix it all. But it's not COVID. I'm telling you, the numbers aren't there.
It seems like a lot of elected officials and even unelected organizations like the CDC are attempting to influence policy, deeming our First Amendment right to protest as non-essential or firearms as non-essential. How does that make you feel as a American-loving, constitutional patriot? How does that make you feel when you hear things like that?
Didn't you hear, Drew? They no longer are calling them constitutional rights. Now they are called social privileges. I read that in the New England Journal of Medicine, that if we don't obey mommy is going to take away our social privileges. So they are manipulating the language. I don't call it a lockdown. I'm not a criminal and I'm not in prison. I don't call it social distancing. I call it forced separation because they are trying to manipulate the language. So yes, we need to reclaim our individual rights. They are God-given rights. We are born to walk upon this earth freely. And if people don't want to get sick and they believe what they hear, they can stay home.